And can people go on mute if you're not talking, please? So, so good afternoon. This is Tony Lanzafame and Ken Rucci. So this is our fourth session in the Zero Trust for SLG customers, and we're going to talk about Defender for Office 365 today. So thank you for attending. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat window, and we'll save some time at the end for verbal questions. With that being said, I'll hand it over to Ken. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Tony, can everybody see my screen?
Yes,
okay.
We can.
Great. So I want to talk today about Microsoft Defender for Office 365. Just give you an overview of what the functionality is of the product. And I'm going to be focusing today on the advanced features, or what we call the P2 functionality, where that adds some additional intelligence and some other functions like being able to conduct a phishing attack, various scenarios, and then also some of the automation that gets added in. So what I want to do is just go through a quick overview of how all this fits into our integrated security stack. One of the things that's unique about this is that Defender for Office 365 is built into the product. There isn't anything to install. This is really just turning on the product. It also incorporates all of the AI and other information from our Microsoft Security Graph, where we receive huge, gigabytes of telemetry on a daily basis, and we incorporate that into our threat protection. So it provides pre-integration and also the ability to look across your entire organization to assess your security posture, not only from email, but also from an endpoint and data perspective. So Office 365 for Defender for Office 365 really covers the whole gamut of being able to not only prevent things like malicious emails, attachments, bad links, but also how can I go and proactively look inside my organization to see are there other things that I need to be aware of? How do I respond to those? Also adding in a component of automation to be able to respond faster. And from a state and local government perspective, this is really what all of our customers are looking to be able to do, right? The attacks are coming in faster, they're more complex. Budgets aren't being increased, so you can't go and hire 5 more security analysts. So we have to find new ways to respond. And this is what the Microsoft stack, particularly the Defender products, are allowing us to do. We also incorporate training. So we are able to identify users that may need some additional training, particularly from the ability to identify a malicious email or a phishing attempt. And not only can we identify them, but now we can also add in with our partnership with Terranova some security training that they can take, and it gives us the ability to keep track of who's the frequent violators, how much training do we need, and how can we help them improve. So the first thing is, when we look at the prevention piece, this ties in with our Exchange Online Protection product. So that's our block and tackling, where we're doing the blocking of edge, spam, malware, those known threats. We're also using our blacklist reputation service to be able to filter out all of those products before they even arrive into our email bucket. Then what we also do is we add in some other things like some domain reputation, some AI filtering, following links to see if we've seen this before, what else has been been reported, what are our other organizations seeing. So this is right in stack. This isn't another, this doesn't have to be rerouted or set up in a different way. This is all in line with everything that we do, and just enhances what we're already doing with Exchange Online Protection. We also because the phishing attacks have become so prevalent these days, we also now have the ability to look at mail flow patterns and be able to see, okay, has this user potentially been compromised? Are they sending out emails internally, right? That's a big issue these days, is because account compromised, someone and they are sending out emails internally, from a trusted user. So we need to be able to have other ways to be able to detect those. One of the things that really makes this unique is the fact that we extend this protection outside of email. Email is the big vector, email is the big threat, but we also know that people are still, using personal emails. They're bringing files in from the outside, so we can enable this protection for, say, for Office 365, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, so that now when we open up a document, we can still have that same layer of protection. And this is just an on or off switch, basically. We just turn this on at the tenant level, and we're able to provide that same level of protection that we would if this came in through an email. And I'll show you what that looks like later when we get to the demo. The other thing that we do is we also are taking all of this information that comes in, that Microsoft is constantly monitoring back at our security response center, and we're aggregating those threats into what we call campaigns. This allows us to see targeted attacks and the specific impact on our organizations, and to be able to take action on them. So if a new threat has been identified, it seems to be targeting a particular set of users, we'll actually light that campaign up in your tenant, and you'll be able to see the information around that. Where is it coming from? Who are they targeting? What's happening with these messages? Are my policies effectively blocking them? And then once we are inside, we actually provide very informative alerts on what's happening. What are we detecting, right? Are we blocking in a large amount of attachments or email links? All this information is integrated into our security.microsoft.com platform. So what Microsoft has done is we've taken all of those individual portals that our customers are using, and created one basically single pane of glass to be able to see information from across the stack. So from your email platform, from your endpoint detection, and a lot of our other products as well. We can also see detailed information about what's happening. So not only are we getting the alert, but you'll see what the impact was on your organization, and also to take action on it from the alert. And you can see here we can resolve it, suppress it, notify users. So we're getting all this information in one place and making it easy to respond. One of the things that we add is this, what we call investigation and hunting. This is really helpful. We want to be able to take a look at what's particularly happening across our email platform. So with the Explorer view, I can see not only what are we detecting, but I have the ability to filter this down by particular malware family, top targeted users. Are we getting hit in particular with our sensitive users, and we have the ability to set those up as well. And we can see what are we also finding that our users are giving us feedback. So we can allow users with a plugin to be able to say, hey, this is something that we should have caught. This is not this is not a regular email. This is a phishing attack. So we're allowing the users to help us train our system to be able to identify new and potentially malicious threats right from within Outlook. That information can go right to the admins to make a determination, or pass that along to Microsoft to update all of our intelligence. We also have the ability to allow the admins to send something as well. So maybe if something should have been caught, or there's a particular message that we want to have some further investigation on. Right from within the admin panel, we can send that to Microsoft. So we're allowing a lot of flexibility in how you manage these submissions, potential false positives or false negatives. The Threat Explorer also gives you some deep dive looks at what are our particular technologies catching, how many attachments, how many links, how many things have we identified as phishing attacks. So this Explorer gives you the ability to look at all of the information that you have within your tenant and be able to mix and match queries or do some advanced search for particular files or particular messages, all from within this one panel. The information also gives you the Microsoft information on why this was either flagged or why did we pick this up or take some action on it. Right from with here, we can see information about the domain, where it came from, did it pass a DKIM, DMARC, all of this advanced functionality from within there. We can also see what did we analyze? Did we determine it to be malicious, or did we want to look through the headers? And we'll show the headers right from within that message to look like to show you where there's some rules that were applied. Was this bypassed because of a particular rule that we have? Pulls all this information. Again, this is also, once you're inside a threat and we're looking at all of these messages, we can also take action on this. And this is one of the things that a lot of our customers like, is the fact that not only can we go and do these individual searches on all of this information, but also can I go ahead and kick off an automated investigation? Can I remove these messages from an inbox? You can pick multi layers of messages and be able to move these to where you need, maybe to quarantine. You also have the ability to look at what URLs are within a message, where those URLs clicked, were they identified as part of a campaign. All of this insight into what's happening. The piece that really makes this unique from the P2 perspective is the fact that we can add automation into this product. So not only can we identify malicious emails, but we can also kick off an automated playbook that Microsoft's designed based on our best practices, industry standards, and then automatically take action and remediate that threat. So if something was identified as malicious after delivery, we can actually go and see, did anybody else get that message, and automatically remediate it. Or if we want, you also have the ability to set the investigation up to wait for approval. Some of our customers like the fact that we'll go all the way up to the remediation, but it has to be approved. That's one of the things that you can set as part of this process. The URL overview, the investigation overview shows you everything that happened as part of that investigation. We can see what emails, what users were involved, what remediations had taken place, or we can just take this overview and do a deeper dive into what's happening as well. And I can show you that when we get to the demo. The other thing that we integrate with this is another Exchange online feature called ZAP, or Zero Hour Auto Purge, which means that if we determine after the fact that this message is malicious, maybe after the fact the URL has changed or something about the message has been updated from the threat actor's perspective, we can then kick off this ZAP process, which will go and look to find all of these messages, where were they delivered, and then move them to junk or delete them, or take action on them after the fact. And at the same time, we'll kick off an investigation to see if there was any impact on those as well. When we get to the awareness and training part, this is what the attack simulator, and this has been in Office 365 Defender for a while, but it's gone through a major overhaul. So we've added into this a variety of additional payloads, and the fact that we've added in that training through our partnership with Terranova, we can now look at various departments, different types of payloads that we want to send out, and also see are we having any effect on increasing user awareness to responding to attacks or being able to pick them up faster. One of the things that we can do is we can say if someone does click on a link, we can give them an opportunity to see why they should have picked up on this, and then also assign them training based on the type of payload. And this is an example of what that payload or that campaign looks like afterwards, how many people clicked on it, things that we can do to improve. All of this can be run on demand right from within Defender for Office 365. The other thing that is just part of this is the fact that we can now kick off little user experiences to identify that, maybe you should pay extra attention to this. For example, here, you can see in this email, they have a little gray tooltip bar that's saying, this may not be from Patty. This could be a phishing attack. And also what we do is with our safe links is we'll wrap that link in the background, but we'll present the URL. So this way, because we've trained users to hover over the link to see if they recognize it. So in this case, even though we're wrapping it in the background, this is where it's going to go, and we'll still check that link at the time of delivery and also at the time of click. We've also built in the security posture analysis. This was a separate product that we used to have for Office 365, and now we've incorporated that into the configuration analyzer, which will look at your settings, compare them to our best practices or our advanced configurations, and let you know any improvements or changes that might need to be made to harden your email defense, or things that you may not be aware of that may be out of configuration. We also make it easier to just turn these policies on. So now you have the ability to just say, I want a strict configuration without having to tune each of the individual items. You can now just turn them on based on the level of security that you want. You can also change what we want to have happen, right? A lot of customers maybe want the emails to go to junk, or we don't even want them to, to get to the end user. We're going to move them right to quarantine. All of this is based on, what you want to have happen inside of your organization. So that is how Office 365 works. It's part of our bigger, broader, and we've recently gone through a name change over the last 24 hours, it seems, where we've actually broadened the Defender brand. So we have Defender products for multiple platforms. We have one for identity, endpoints. We also have Defender for cloud apps, and for the email and user data, we talked about Office 365. All of these are integrated, so we are set up to be able to share intelligence across the Defender stack and be able to cross-reference alerts, aggregate information, and provide a much stronger security base. This is integrated into security.microsoft, as I mentioned before. So now we can see not only our endpoint information, but also information from our Office environment and also from our cloud applications as well. This ties in with our KQL query language that's advanced hunting. So if I want to look inside of our information or in our data, I can run these queries across our platforms. And also, as I mentioned, because this is our single pane of glass, we can see information from various products into one portal and see what actions need to be taken. Do we have any pending investigations or other outstanding items? So that's the overview of Office 365. What I want to do now is actually just kind of show you what this looks like. Are there any questions so far before we get into this? Tony, anything so far?
Nope, nothing in the chat window, Ken.
Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and just share this. So this is our security.microsoft portal that I talked about. Here you can see all of these consoles rolled into one, right? Gives you the ability to see your endpoints and your email. This is the Office 365 piece. First thing I want to do is talk about the investigations. These can be triggered automatically by alerts, or we can kick them off. And I just want to give you a quick look at what these investigations look like. So once the investigation launches, we'll start to collect all of the information about what users are involved. So this one is one that I actually kicked off, right? I was going through my emails and said, this doesn't look right. I'm going to kick off an investigation. That investigation looked at 6 different email clusters in one URL. So what we do from a cluster standpoint is we're not just looking for the actual email, but we're looking for any type of variations, right? Has the threat actor changed the subject around or modified the message? So it's not exactly the same one, but it still essentially has the same components. So we look at that. In this case, we found 4 different entities, and we're waiting now for approval. So if I want to take a look at a little more inside of this, I see that I kicked off this investigation. This was for Ken's mailbox. And what did we find as part of that? Well, we looked at the subject, right? Because this was this was a malicious attachment that I sent. So I can see here, we looked at the subject. This was the link that was in the machine. We actually are blocking that. So this investigation prevented that link from doing any harm. We'll block it when the user clicks on it. And then we look at any of the other information. Everything that we find here is analyzed. So this is the, we call it heuristic clustering, where we'll take a message and break it apart to look for different subjects. Have they changed? What are the threats that we found? And then everything that we do as part of this investigation gets logged. Right, so here I can see every action that was taken, and you can see how fast this investigation goes, right? So if we had to look at having someone manually do this, right, we can, I don't know if anybody could do it this fast, right, using the automation. So here's a result of this investigation. We have 4 pending actions, and what I want to do here is, because of the investigation, we want to reset. We want to make Ken reset his password, right? So if I go ahead and approve that, next time Ken logs in, he's going to have to reset his password, right? So this could have happened automatically, but we wanted to have this investigation just for the sake of demo, have you take a look at it. So that's the investigations. Again, these happen automatically. There's a lot of different playbooks that will kick this off. What I want to do now is show you what this looks like from an investigation standpoint. I actually have a Word document open. This is a document that I've opened in Word, and I had this protection for Office 365 turned on. So in this document, I have a few links. If I go ahead and click on this link, it's going to go ahead and open up. Bing, boom, that's fine. If I go here back to the document, I have another link. And if I click on this, this is a malicious link that's in the document. This should be blocked. Right? So even though this is not an email, we're providing that same level of protection to Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So I think that's really unique that we can provide this, cross-platform coverage. The other thing that I want to show you is our threat tracker. We talked about that in the, the Explorer. We talked about it in the presentation. So here I have just a link. There's not much going on in my demo environment, just to make it easy to show. But here I can see this Explorer. I found this Trojan file on the first here. You can also change this up to look at phishing email, all email, and then get into what are you looking for. Right? We can cut and paste, correlate this as much as we want. But now I can look and see, here's the email file. What's the top malware? This will tell me all of the different types of thing that we're catching inside our environment. In this case, it's just one. If I want to go back to the email, if I pick on a few emails here, right from here, I can go ahead and take a multitude of action, right? If I want to just go ahead and delete these, these may not be malicious, but for whatever reason, we want to move them around. This Threat Explorer allows you to look at all of this information. So pretty powerful tool. I know I'm going quick, but I just want to highlight all of these things. The last thing that I wanted to cover was the attack simulation. And so this is the ability to attack yourself. I can pick different campaigns from here. Those payloads are pretty extensive. I mentioned before that we've expanded these out. So depending on what type of campaign do you want to run, Facebook account, American Express, direct deposit to Wells Fargo, whatever you want to simulate to see what your users will click on. And you can create one, and I'll go ahead and just show you what it looks like. We'll launch one. And I want to do, let's just do credential harvest, right? I'll click on that. Here we can say, test. And if I click next. So here's what I can pick. So let's just pick payroll adjustment for COVID. Here's where I pick who I want it to go to. I can send it to everybody, or just maybe target a particular group. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and pick. And then here I have the ability to pick training, right? So if I want to pick my own, or do I want to just use the Microsoft curated list? I'll just pick the Microsoft list. Then we can set a date of how long that user has to complete the training. Here we can say, do we want to use our own page? So maybe our organization has a page that if the user does click on it, I want it to have our logos and our information, our policies, or do I want to just use the the Microsoft one? So you can pick your own. The layout, there's different layouts here. And then do I want to add my own logo, which is kind of nice if I want to make it personalized. And then here, do I want to add those payloads? So there are those little tool tips that came up. So I'm not going to pick those, but let's pick the preview. So this will show you what that looks like. So if I put my logo in here, and the user's name will show up, give them, and this is the example of what the email will look like. Again, you have full customization of what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and send this out. And how many days do I want this to, maybe I only want this to run for 3 days. You have the ability to pick that as well. You can send a test email, just make sure everything looks okay. And I'll just go ahead and send this out. So this will go out to everybody. And if I go to my email, just in case this doesn't happen as fast as I want, this is what one of those test emails look like, right? So you'll see you received a Xerox scanner. This is a common one, right? People are scanning their documents, and they go to the scanner, and then they get an attachment. So if I just go ahead and open this up, boom, uh-oh, that was a phishing test, right? So you can change these up, make them look as customized as you want. After I click on that, this is what I'll get, right? So Ken, you were recently phished, boom, pay attention. And this is what your training would look like. So if I click on this, this will take me to my training. And I can see here I have these already assigned training assignments. And I can go here and click on them. And I can go through the individual training. You can set these lists up, as I mentioned before, or use the curated list that are already combining. So if I go here, I can go through the training. Right. So if I go back after the training simulate through, I can go and see the information about what happened. Right, we get to start to see how many users figured out that they were being phishing, who hasn't completed their training, and also some of the recommendations that may improve our information. Right, who's the repeat offenders? Who are the people that need some special attention? Since this is just me, I don't have a big environment, but you can see this will give you some real information about what's happening and the effectiveness of your test. Right, here's everybody in my organization. Ken's, this is me. He's clicked on it once. Right, everyone else. So you can start to see information there. So that's about everything that I wanted to cover. As far as this, I know I covered a lot, and I am available, to set up deep dive sessions if this is something that you wanted to, look at more, discuss, how it would impact or potentially work inside of your organization. We're available for that. The purposes of these seminars is just to give you some information, keep you up to date on the Microsoft product stack, particularly for Office, Defender for Office. As you can see, the attack simulator is something that we've overhauled dramatically, and also we've been, broadened the investigative and remediation products or functionality as well. So I'm going to end there. I want to make sure we have some time for questions or go over anything more in depth.
Thanks, Ken. There aren't any questions in the chat window. Oh, wait, looks like one just popped in from David Hampton. The feature that protects links from Word and similar, is that dependent on what the browser the user is using?
No, they're wrapped. They're wrapped regardless of the browser.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, either through chat or feel free to take yourselves off mute and feel free to ask questions. Thanks, Ken. That was a great presentation, and as you stated, we're more than willing to provide additional deep dives on a one-to-one basis. We have free trials of Defender for Office 365 Plan 1 and Plan 2. So if you are interested in that, either reach out to myself, or Tony Lanzafame, or Ashley Campbell, or someone on your account team, and we can get that set up for you. I'm still looking in the chat window. Still no more questions. Anyone Anyone from the audience have any questions?
Come off mute if you don't want to put it in the chat.
Okay, it seems like that's all, Ken. So no, there are no additional questions. So thank you everyone for attending today. We're meeting again next Wednesday because Thursday is Veterans Day, and we're going to talk about Defender for Endpoint. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks.